Hi everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the projected 2024 election and we'll take a look at what that may have in store for us. So I just have a generic Democrat here on the left and a generic Democrat here on the right. So firstly, I'm going to be doing this in a two-part series. Today we'll be taking a look at what the 2024 map looks like if Donald Trump is re-elected, and then you have an open race on both sides like in 2016. And then tomorrow or in a few days we'll be taking a look at if Joe Biden is elected as president. And so then the generic Democrat on the ticket, it could be Joe Biden, it could be his vice president, so you could have in 2024 like a Harris versus Pence or something. There's many possibilities. But today it's just generic Democrat versus generic Republican. So this is just your, plain old Democrat. So that could be, a Kamala Harris. It could be, Kirsten Gillibrand. It could be, just generic Democrats. Most likely it will be a woman. And then on the generic Republican side, again, just a generic Republican could be, Paul Ryan, could be, many people, Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence. There's a few options. Some of those options I think would do better than others. Like Nikki Haley, I think would be a pretty strong candidate, and I think Nikki Haley would probably win if it's Harris versus Haley. I think Haley would probably win that. But generic Democrat versus generic Republican. Let's get going with this. So. It says Clinton and Trump because it had projected the 2016 map. I've just blanked it all out and then just changed those two. So, Washington, obviously that would go to the Democrats. Oregon, again, California, Hawaii, all these are safe states. They're not just going to switch. New Mexico, safe for the Democrats. Colorado, I actually think by then would probably be safe for the Democrats. There's no likely leans and toss-ups, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, and then if we continue down here, Illinois most likely going to the Democrats. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, this kind of eastern seaboard here, all going to the Democrats. We could see New York also move through to the Democrats. Vermont moving into that column. New Hampshire, let's see if we can actually, I wonder if we can get that to be split electoral votes. It doesn't seem like we can do it. So, I think what I'm gonna do, 3 out of the 4 going to Hillary Clinton, and then the rest, the one of them going to Donald Trump. So, actually, it's 197 for the Democrats that I consider would be in safe situations for them. Okay, for Donald Trump, we've obviously got Alaska, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. Montana gains an electoral vote, by the way, which is pretty interesting. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska goes through to the Republicans. Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, all moving into the safe Republican column. Okay, so Nebraska, again, by the way, one of them is not. So really, it's 197 and 124. So I will change that when we get to the end of this video. But so assuming this is the scenario where Trump is re-elected, I mean, if Trump is re-elected, I think that, if you've just got a generic Republican versus a generic Democrat, after 8 years of Trump, who's not the most popular president, I think the Democrats would stand an excellent chance at beating whoever the Republicans can put up. Okay, so moving on, I would say Trump might the Democrats, Nevada, again, Nevada's demographics are changing. It's moving to the left in an election year like this. it really seems that Nevada will go to the Democrats. Moving through, next we're going to go over in New Hampshire. We're going to go to New Hampshire, and there we also see again Democrats winning. There it has been trending Democrat. It hasn't really been trending, but in this kind of election year, after 8 years of Trump, we do see the Democrats winning in New Hampshire. We also see them taking Virginia. We don't think that would be all that difficult for the Democrats to pull off. Virginia has been, again, trending Democratic. It's pretty easy for the Democrats to pull it off, honestly. Arizona, I'm going to give this one to the Democrats. So the demographics in Arizona are changing. They really seem to be moving through to the Democratic column. We saw Democrats win a Senate seat there in 2018. They also picked up a House seat there. Things are looking on the rise for Arizona Democrats, and I do think that by 2024 it will become a lean blue state, not a lean red state. Next we are let's go to Minnesota. So in this election we do see the Democrats carrying the state of Minnesota. We don't think it would be a very difficult win. Now, in terms of the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and the state of Wisconsin. So Trump was able to carry these, but I really think that was mostly because of Trump, and Republicans haven't carried it except for Trump in decades, these three states. They've been solidly for Democrats. Now, in an election year where, after 8 years of Trump, if Trump was able to run for a third term, I think he'd lose because of these three states. However, and on top of that, it's just a generic Republican. I definitely see, especially Michigan and especially Pennsylvania, putting Democrats over the top. Now, Wisconsin is slightly different. Wisconsin has definitely been trending Republican, right? But it's really hard to know what's going to happen with Wisconsin, and I will put Wisconsin in the Democratic column, but it could become very competitive. Okay, moving on to some Republican states. We see the president's successor in the Republican nomination. I think that they will carry both Iowa and Ohio. So Iowa and Ohio, both of these states have been trending GOP lately, and I think that would continue. Democrats haven't been able to win since 2012 in a statewide race there, or I guess they did win a Senate race there in 2018, but in 2014 they got squandered, 2016 squandered, and even in 2018 they only won one Senate race, and that was with a popular incumbent in Sherrod Brown. Especially if it's a generic Democrat and a generic Republican, I think the Republicans would be able to put away Iowa and Ohio relatively easily. Okay, moving on, the South looks like it's going to become much more of a battleground. Florida has been trending Republican recently, and for that reason, it really does seem that Florida is pulling away from the Democrats. They lost in 2018. They lost in 2016. They lost in 2014. It seems like they're really pulling away. And however, it's important to note, Florida, still a swing state at heart. I mean, it's still very close in all of these elections. It could go either way. After 8 years of Trump, it really depends on who the candidates are. If it's someone like a Nikki Haley from the South, I think Republicans can put Florida to bed. But if it's someone else, maybe not. At the end of the day, with Florida's right-wing trends right now, and especially the prospect that Democrats may nominate
It's 11 hours.
Oh, thank you for that announcement. It's 11 o'clock. Especially with the announcement about how Democrats may nominate a progressive if Biden loses to Trump. Then again, this is if Trump is reelected. Then I definitely do think Republicans may be able to hold on to Florida, but only just barely. Okay. moving on, North Carolina seems to be trending in a Democratic direction, right? Yes, Obama won it in 2008 and Democrats haven't won it since, and the Republican margin seems to be increasing in the presidential elections. There were external factors, and in the 2018 midterms, Democrats did okay in North Carolina. At the end of the day, if it's not someone like a Nikki Haley, with how it's trending in a Democratic situation, I do think that Democrats might be able to pull off North Carolina. Another state that's moving towards the Democrats is the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia, again, I do think that still it's probably going to be a Republican state in 2020, but I do think that by 2024, with the expanded African American community, especially after 8 years of Trump, I do think that Georgia narrowly goes to the Democratic Party. So North Carolina, Georgia, that's 32 electoral votes. That's quite a lot. Now, it all comes down to Texas. So 318 votes for the generic Democrat right now, 179 for the generic Republican. Look, at the end of the day, Texas, I mean, yes, Beto O'Rourke has got close. Yes, Hillary Clinton has got a little bit closer by 7%. At the end of the day, I think maybe it's in 2026 where the Democrats are able to pull off Texas, even after 8 years of Trump. Trump's quite popular in Texas right now. I think that it's going to come right down to the wire, and because of that, I'm actually not going to make a Texas projection right now. If I had to put money on it right now, if Trump is re-elected, I would probably say Republicans hang on to Texas for just one more election, but I would still classify it as a swing state in the 2024 elections. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's it for today's video, guys. I need to remember Maine and Nebraska. Nebraska, we do see going to the Republicans. So that, so in terms of the state of Nebraska, we do see that actually going for the Republicans, and in terms of the Republicans, we do see them taking all of Nebraska, so that's fine, but we need to give Republicans one more vote. So if we can just hang on a second, let's just inspect that, see if we can get that done. Where is it? 179. Okay, we're going to replace that into 180. Okay, so there we go, and then this 41 needs to be changed into 40. So, sorry, 41 is okay, and then the Democrats will lose one there. So let's just move into that. So 317 there. Okay, sorry about that, but it says 318 there. I'm not sure how to fix it. I tried to inspect it properly, but it didn't really work. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Good night.